Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, I just want to start off today by saying actually to everybody watching, thank you very much, because I've just actually hit the 9,000 subscribers mark, which is quite nice, and the channel grows very steadily, but at a very sort of consistently steady rate, and it just keeps on growing. So it's brilliant that 9,000 people found me sitting here in my garage, basically. Found me quite interesting, and I do try to cover, it's mainly models as you know, but I've recently obviously I've covered, I did the obituary sort of tribute to Sharky Ward, rest in peace Sharky, and that's been incredibly popular, by the way. I mean, as I speak today, we're up to 22,000 views. This is 4 times what I would have anticipated, actually, so again, thank you very much for watching that. On that particular video, I should just make a point actually and say that one thing that surprised me, apart from the, obviously it's been very popular, and I think the reason is that, surprisingly, very few people seem to know that Sharky had passed away. And I kind of blame the media for that, because I only found out because of one of the subscribers and friends actually told me. It didn't pop up, I didn't see it initially in any sort of news feeds. You know, they're too busy talking about woke this and Meghan and Harry and all sorts of Hollywood A-listers and all sorts of rubbish, quite frankly. I'm sorry I sound like an old codger now, but some of the stuff you read in the media is such trivial garbage really today. And Sharky Ward, I reckon about 20 to 25% of people only probably knew when they saw my obituary tribute that I did. So I thought I was a bit late to the party, because I was actually away on holiday when he died, when I first heard about it. But it seems that very few people knew, and I think that's a bit sad really. It's like we seem to be obsessed with trivia and rubbish in the news, and important things and important people. You know, whether you're a fan of Sharky or or somebody who opposed him perhaps in Argentina or whatever, but I think there's a lot of respect for the way he conducted himself, whether you're on his side or not. And people like that, I think, should be lauded. And there we go. Anyway, we won't go back over old ground. But today, speaking of heroes, today we have got something quite interesting. So it's the Tamiya British Special Air Service Jeep, of course used by the SAS, as it mentions. And you look at this, I'm just going to zoom you in actually, because it's as soon as I saw the 2 characters in the Jeep, all I could think of was this BBC TV series we had on last year called SAS Rogue Heroes, about Paddy Mayne and David Stirling, of course, of the leading lights in the SAS in North Africa in World War II and the British Army, and did all these famous raiding parties against the Nazi Air Force and German supply dumps and all sorts of things, and were very sort of cheeky and daredevil types, and incredibly courageous, it has to be said, you know. So I thought this would be a good place to start doing something a little bit different this week. I actually spotted this when I was buying something else, and I thought that's a very good price, and you can pick them up for about, I think about £16 to £18, something like that. They used to sell these in Hobbycraft in the UK, but I don't think they're stock in Tamiya anymore, annoyingly. But it's a small kit, obviously. Now I've got the Jeep, several of you will have seen that already, built, you know, in American colours, so it's interesting to have something a little bit more, a bit closer to home perhaps. Now this is an issue, this is a vintage classic Tamiya, because it actually says on the side, I'll show you, 1974, here we go. And it's all in, you can tell it's one of the original issues as well, because it's all got the Japanese writing on the side. So there we are, Tamiya 1974, look at that. Japanese writing, other side, it's just typical of that era. A bit like the Matchbox style, they used to have adverts for their other products. So we've got the 88mm flat gun, and we've got the US Willis Jeep with a little trailer, and we've also got the Kettencraft Rider with a couple of soldiers as well. So this is very much of its time, but it's a very good kit, and as I say, I've actually built it, so I can certainly vouch for the quality of the kit inside, as you would probably expect with Tamiya anyway, to be honest. Let's take a look. So it's just the usual straight out of the box, they're not sealed or anything. And we've got 1, 2, 3 sprues. And we've got a write-up here, which I'm going to say, I fear it's in Japanese, but they've actually done a British version as well. And that's good, isn't it? We like that. It's absolutely critical that they do both versions. So we'll leave the Japanese one there. And it's Japanese instructions and British instructions, so they've done well here. They've done well. Oh my word! This is a huge write-up. I'll be here for about an hour reading this. I think I'll just... it's talking about basically an attack on the German airfield of Sidi Enik, which I think is one of the ones that was featured in that series. It showed them attacking multiple airfields at the same time, simultaneously. And it's saying that under the command of David Stirling, it was a surprise attack was started. They blew up Stukas, Junkers 52s, Heinkels, and nearly half of Rommel's planes in one strike. Amazing. 18 Jeeps in close formation slashed their way through the runway. German planes burst into flame one after another, and their fuel tanks blew up. The flames reddened the sky for miles and miles around. It talks a little bit about the history. That's very good, actually. This I've got to say, a bit of the history about David Stirling. This is really exceptional, even for Tamiya, actually. And it's talking about how cold it can be in the desert at night, well below freezing. How these men are very gritty characters that had to be selected very carefully for their skills and survival skills, etc. And then it talks about the Jeep, the Chevrolet 1300 weight 3-ton truck they call it. It was used in the initial part of the war. And they're saying the Jeep was great for getting across the sand channels and everything, 4-wheel drive of course. And they mounted Vickers machine gun, Browning machine gun, or twin Vickers K machine guns. And it's the twin Vickers K I think they've got on here. And Vickers on the back, twin on the front. Okay. Anyway, very impressive. I'm not sure about the photographs here. This is the old style of Tamiya. They didn't particularly have great models, I don't think, working for them. If you look at these, okay though. I like the fact that they have included it, and it's quite why they've shown two photos there. I'm not quite sure. It's a bit odd. It's helpful because it shows the actual chassis construction down here, and you can see the leaf springs going in there, and the main drive shaft going to the rear, obviously to give the 4-wheel drive. And then you get into your building here. So starts off with, you've got your wheels and tyres going together here, and it looks like is it a rubber tyre or is it plastic? Oh no, they're plastic. That's good. Actually, I think that'll be better. So you've got like an inner hub, as you can see there, that goes in, and then you've got the outer, and you build up the sides. You've got to put in your floor where the seats are going to go, and then you put the sides in and the back goes on. Complete with spare tyres, they have at least two. Mounting that onto the chassis, then you're bringing in all your dampers. So you've got the dampers, that's good, isn't it? Cool. Dampers on both sides, bringing in your wheels and tyres, and your exhaust is going on there. You've got the construction of the bonnet, and then the radiator here. And then you've got these wonderful figures that come with it. And here we go. Kind of David Stirling, or was it Paddy Mayne? More like Paddy Mayne, I think this one. David Stirling looks like the chap who's driving to me. How many figures do you get? One, two figures? Just two? Yeah, just two. Okay, just a bit confusing because one seems to be standing there almost. Shows him standing, doesn't it? So do they stand? Is there an option to stand? Standing and sitting? Or not? No, that's a little bit odd from Tamiya's part. He doesn't stand like it shows here. It's purely to show you the colours, like a colour chart guide, but you can't actually pose him like that. Well, I'm sure you could if you really wanted to. You could perhaps do some extra modifications, but anyway. So you're bringing in your bonnet there and your radiator at the front. The steering column goes in and the very flimsy seats, and then you've got your driver here and your machine gunner. Looking very similar, aren't they, frankly, in the beards. And then you've got this set of jerry cans that are going to go on the side because fuel was absolutely everything. And then you've got your Browning M2 machine gun, and then your twin Vickers going in here with the drum, ammunition drum. So you can have it single, you can have it twin. Then you are going to bring those in here And so I'm just having a little bit of trouble with my lighting. There we go, that's a bit better, a bit brighter. Bringing in your Vickers, and you've got your khaki, basically canvas, like a sleeping sack, rucksack. You've also got some oil drums, and then you've got all sorts of other items. This is really cool. You've got ammunition boxes, you've got storage rack, magazine case, drum magazine box, duffel bags, and water canteen. All included. That's really cool. And say, make the jerry can rack out of plastic card. Really, Tamiya? Tut tut tut, you have come a long way now, haven't you? What? Scratch building in a Tamiya kit? I've never heard of it in my life. And then it gives this this paint guide at the bottom. And it's also saying, yeah, straps for the water canteens. It says made from plastic card. Okay. Well, I don't think that's too challenging. And then it basically on the back, I just zoom back for this. Basically, it shows you all the components and what they are, which I like. It's a really good explanation of how to do it, and it shows the front, it shows the back, everything is explained, and then they show the photograph from the Long Range Desert Group. I presume that is. Although the Long Range Desert Group, I'm probably wrong there, because the Long Range Desert Group and the SAS, that's two separate divisions basically. Long Range Desert Group was sort of standard British Army, and SAS were the real nuisance troublemakers doing these lightning raids, blitzkrieg raids, really. But by the way, just talking about the pointing out of all the parts, I'm talking to ICM at the moment about that, because it's something that's come up a few times with some of their kits where there is no descriptions, and I've pointed this out to them, and they've asked me to actually help them out by going and writing and give examples by writing in some headings and things like that, just for the future, not for now obviously, but for the future, to give them some design ideas about how to perhaps evolve the instructions a little bit. So that'd be quite good. So well done ICM for showing willing, which is certainly more than we get from the Far Eastern manufacturers, most of the ones in China especially. Anyway, we've got the staples as always. Oops, the first time it's been opened obviously. Oops, if it will indeed open. It's going to take a half an hour this, come on. Why is it being so difficult? Oh, there we go. It's just because the staples dropped inside, that's why. And then over here, try to identify which way around to put the staple. There and there. There we go. So, let's have a look. Now this is a different version of the kit that I've already built, so we'll start with the sort of main parts. Zoom you in, see what you think of this. We'll just put our little board up, because that would be easier for you to see things, I think, if we pop it up like this. It's not actually ICM today, so I'll just cover that up. There we go. Stay. Thank you. The dangers of live TV. Right, here we go. So, I've got to tell you, it builds up beautifully. This is give you no problems whatsoever. And then you've got your bonnet. Here's your bonnet. And you've got your main interior sort of floor, where the seats go, and your instruments and your gear change and handbrake down here. Then over here we've got there's some fairly nasty ejector pin marks, but they're all in places you won't see them. You've got your main chassis, complete with your transmission there. It's like a torque converter thing, isn't it, for driving the rear wheels? It's is it? Is that the gear change? And that's maybe the gear change area. And then you've got the sides, obviously, here now. This side, sorry. So here's your two side panels, all in one piece. There's no doors on this one; it's just completely open. It's very much a utilitarian vehicle. But it's really nicely, very nicely moulded. And then we've got the back here. Has got a couple of rather nasty ejector pin marks there. Can you see those? At both sides, there and there. Zoom in a bit more for this, you can see it a bit better. go. Yeah, those ejector pins just need taking care of. And then we've got the rather flimsy looking rudimentary seats. There we go. You've got lovely looking grille, front grille for the radiator and the headlights. And you've got some sandboard. These are the sort of sandboards, sand plates to put down if you get stuck in a deep sand or muddy sand, damp sand. You've got your drive shafts, differential and drive shafts there, steering wheel here, and then you've got your exhaust and steering column, and that's your radiator there. It's nice, isn't it? It's alright. So remember, it's a very cheap kit, this one, very cheap kit. Then we've got many jerry cans. As you can see, there are a lot of them. So they're in halves, you just stick them together, very straightforward. And then you get this, oh actually that's interesting, because on this one it's, so what do you need the plastic card for then? Because on this one it's got the band that holds them together there. So perhaps you don't need the plastic card after all. And then we've got our Browning machine gun, which is this one here. And then the Vickers are there. And then of course we're down onto the leaf springs down here. And then we've got the inner wheels. And that's the inner face, I think. And then the outer face are very nicely moulded, it has to be said. These are, for its time, these are rather excellent, I would say. Look at that. And on the other side they're just hollow, so you put the insert of the centrepiece in. So those are very impressive looking, and figure out what those boxes are. What are those boxes? Oh, it's part of these stowage boxes I mentioned earlier. So these are in fact the drum magazines in their stowage boxes. See that? Here and here. Cool. And then finally, last sprue, because it's only it's going to be a short review this one. Finally, we've got some yet more jerry cans, and these have got some of these have got really nice, very impressively. I think this is an additional sprue, especially for this version of the kit, because you can see we've got these like nice bands here around the jerry can with like a buckle on it, like a belt buckle almost, and then we've got these fantastic duffel bags. Now these are clearly, I don't think these are 74. I'm not convinced. Does it say on the back? Does it say? I can see 87 written there. Does that say 87? Can you see? Might be able to see better than me. I think this is a later sprue. And they've even got, interestingly, sorry I'm flicking around a bit too much here. Let's keep that in vision. The duffel bags look really nice though. Those really do look good, got to say. And there's even here a Thompson machine gun, 45 caliber machine gun. You've got your canteen bottles there, water bottles, water canteens. Those are nice. They're brilliant actually. Then you've got your ammo boxes, here they are, a big row of them, and a spade. Dig yourself out of the deep sand. And then you've got your tarpaulin or sleeping bag, which again are very nicely moulded. So you've got all this sort of canvas, canvassy type parts. Very nice. And then over on the other side we've got weapons. We've got a Bren gun here. And we've got the Browning, 50 cal Browning. Is it 50 cal? Is it 303 actually? Not quite sure if it's 303 or 50 cal. Don't know if it said that. And then they've got a German MP40 machine pistol. Look. Schmeiser. I understand that Schmeiser was slightly the wrong name in actual fact, but that was the name it got given. The MP40 machine pistol. See on the other side. Very nice. And then we have our men. So, oh sorry, there's these very nice, these are good as well. Look at the finish on these, wood boxes. These are all your ammunition boxes, etc. And ration pack boxes. But look at the wood effect, isn't that cool? got a couple of pistols in holsters as well. Probably Colt 45 or Browning, I guess. Probably Browning, in fact. Then we have our men. Let's take a look at these guys. So I have to say, they are noticeably inferior compared to a modern Tamiya figure. I mean, these days their figures are probably second to none, and they are a little bit cartoonish, almost caricaturish, slightly. But I think you can, if you do a nice bit of painting and you highlight them and do some good flesh tones and detail them up a bit with a bit of weathering on their rather faded looking caps. Well, they're not a cap, are they? They're like I forgot what you call them now, like a headscarf thing. But you can soon make that lift and highlight it. And you can see here you've got the hands. Here's the other guy, complete with, he's got his shorts on. I've also got some horrendous sunburn, I'm not being funny, you know. There's the head protection, see it's got the bands around it at the top. Look, I mean, they're really good, they're very well observed. It's just the face that slightly lets it down. I think that's a little bit disappointing, very soft moulding. Modern Tamiya figures have got this very sharp sort of features on their face which are really very effective. So there we go. So that's your British Special Air Service Jeep with 2 figures. I thought it was very appropriate today. You've probably noticed if you look closely that I am quite red in the face. No, I'm not embarrassed, I haven't been drinking. It's just that we've got some proper sun has finally arrived in the UK. It came in about a week ago. So we've had about, well, since Tuesday actually, since last Tuesday. So we've had about 5-6 days of it now. And this seemed entirely appropriate to have this desert Jeep because we're starting to feel a bit warm. I'm filming this fairly early in the morning because it's the only time that it's cool enough to do it really. Because it certainly gets quite hot in here late in the sort of lunchtime and early afternoon. So there's our SAS Jeep. What do you think of that? What are we going to give that? Let me have a think. I mean, you've got to bear in mind it's very cheap as chips. It's under £20. So you know, you get quite a lot of kit there. Really, you get all those extras, all these rucksacks and tarpaulins and sleeping bags and the plates that go down to get out of the sand and all the jerry cans. So you're getting a lot more than just a Jeep. And you get those 2 figures, which, despite my reservations, I think if you really, you paint them up, get the beards right, a bit like I did with Sharky Ward, I guess. But make sure you get the tones right, and just I suppose it's a little bit of an extra challenge with these because they're wearing shorts, so there's a lot more flesh on the arms and the legs, which you don't normally really see. Can be a bit of an extra daunting challenge, perhaps, but I think you do a good job of it. Anyway, I'm gonna give it. You have to bear in mind it's 1974. This is the year of the Matchbox era, so it's pretty good compared to obviously what Matchbox and Airfix were producing at the time. So I think 9 out of 10 is probably a fair score. A bit flashy here and there, but 9 out of 10, I think that's fair. Certainly a recommendation from me. Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with something like that. You can add that and start creating dioramas with aircraft and all sorts of things. You can have it with a 30, perhaps a 32nd scale. Well, I'm just thinking 32nd scale. You could actually put that with the border model Stuka, couldn't you? Something like that, or the BF109. Suddenly it opens up possibilities where you can mix them in together at the same scale, in fact. So, yeah, very, very impressed. Hope you thought it was interesting. I quite enjoyed that, and it's. I think it's one I might make up. I think I need to do a little tribute to the SAS, the David Stirling enterprise that he had, and we saw on this TV programme last year. I've got a feeling there's another series in the making of that. I don't think it's finished as such. I think there was talk of doing another series because they only sort of just got started, really. And it was very entertaining and very educational as well. So there we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that and agree with me. Hope you give me a thumbs up, a like, 10 out of 10. Thanks for all the extra subscribers. As I say, 9,000, getting towards 10,000 before too long, I suppose. So that'd be quite a milestone. I think I'll have to have some sort of a party. But yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you find them interesting. As I said, I try to mainly stick to models, but I do like to do these occasional different things, like the tribute for Sharky Ward, the radio control aircraft, which a lot of you have found very interesting. It's not been the most watched, one of the more watched videos, because I think that people just think, oh no, it's not my cup of tea, which I can understand. But those of you that have watched it, quite a few of you have been asking me more about it and been a bit inspired and trying to find out where they can get them or how much they cost and what's involved. And yeah, I think that it gives you a buzz. It really is something very different. And when we have weather like we've got today, this warmer weather, absolutely ideal for it, really. So there we go. Anyway, thanks a lot. I'll be back soon in the not too distant future. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, thanks a lot. Take care. And bye for now.